One of the moves very quickly and show you how to make application of pressure points with each of the moves. So very quickly. The first technique comes from, if you watch the video, you'll see that I go into a cat stance and I do a square block. That means my hand is up like this, my other hand is up like this. Looks rather awkward. And when I first started karate, someone said, well, the person is trying to hit you in the head with a bow staff and you're putting your hands up to block it. And I said, but wait a minute, if he's trying to hit me with a bow staff in the back of the head, and I put my hands up here to block it, I'm not really blocking it. This hand might get a little bit of the block, but this one would have to be behind my head for that to make any sense. So I said, that doesn't really work. But as I began to study pressure points and see how the body works, I began to notice this actually does have application. If he throws a punch at my head, my hands are already going to be in a defensive posture. This hand is going to go inside of the arm, catching the pressure points on the arm. This hand is going to drive forward, catching the pressure points here. So, he throws the punch, I step in here, that's one. Now the next part of the kata, after I'm here, hand comes back, touches right here on my arm, and then goes out like this. Now, would I really hit myself on the arm? No. But I'm showing where I'm going to hit him. He throws a punch, 1, 2, and that hitting of that point sets up the last hit that I need, which would cause him to go down. So again, he throws a round punch, boom, boom, and the follow-up technique. So that's the answer for this part. But the kata moves on. After you've done that on both sides, and the reason why kata does things on both sides is because it teaches the person how to be ambidextrous. It teaches you how to do it on both sides of your body, left side and the right side. Once you've done both, you then move into a technique called cup and saucer. One hand comes up here, the other hand comes up here, and you take a side kick and a back fist, or hammer fist. And again, I'm going to ask you to come around here, demonstrate this. If he grabs my wrist, cross-hand wrist grab, and I roll up to here, and I take my hand and take elbow to elbow across, I get him right there. That is my cup and saucer. Again, I was here, step across, here. Now, let's say he doesn't go down, and I'm here. I can kick out the leg and strike, whether it be a back fist or punch or a hammer fist, depending on where his face is, how his face is showing. May even be just a hit, some type of a slap, or palm, rather, not a slap, but a palm. Together, boom, takes him down. So that's the first part of the kata. We've done the square block. We've done the cup and saucer, finished with a side kick and a back fist. Then the kata moves to a series of knife hands. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the knife hands, but I do want to give a basic explanation for a knife hand. Watch a person do a knife hand. And they do different styles, do different ways. Typically, Okinawan styles will bring the hands back. This hand will touch here. Chop out like this. The other hand pulling back. So, this is a basic knife hand. If he were to grab me by the shirt, and I take my hand up underneath, This hand, remember in the movement, I touch myself here. This point on his arm, this point on his arm works his legs. If I touch that point, I get his legs to give. So if he grabs me, I put him in the position for the strike. Now, in Pinan Shodan, you do a series of knife hands, then you end with a spear hand. One hand is here, the other hand is here. There are a couple of different things that you can do with a spear hand, but again, since we're talking about pressure points, I wanted to show you just a basic way to understand a spear hand. If you do the spear hand here, there are different ways to finish. You can go down, or you can go up like this. And here's the way I want you to think about it here to here. I'm touching myself underneath the arm. There's a point on his elbow inside that releases the elbow. You feel that? If he grabs a hold of my wrist, I can come out, touch that point, release the elbow, and lock it up. Just like that. You notice, either way I go, if he grabs and I go outside, either way, I catch that point. That releases his ability to hold his elbow out tight and strike back on the elbow, and that effectively renders his arm useless. So that's the first half of the kata. That gets you to here and to here. Then you turn around, do another series of knife hands. I'm not going to do the knife hands over. Just take what I've already taught and use that as a key to start the process of learning. Move then to the second half of the kata, which is going back. And it begins with a circle trap, kick, punch, circle trap, kick, punch. Now remember from the first part of the kata that I explained, anytime you do something on one side, then do the exact same thing on the other side, all you're doing is training your body to be ambidextrous. You're training your body to do the same thing twice. But let's just walk through this now. If I do a circle trap, kick, reverse punch, why would I ever do that? Well, let's have him reach out. Go ahead, grab. He's got this hand ready to fire. My hand comes up, locks up here, kick, and exposes the ribs. That's a very basic understanding of why I would do a circle trap, kick, and expose the ribs for the punch. Now again, hundreds of different things that could be for. Circle trap, kick, and punch. That's just a basic understanding, and then you do the same thing on the other side. You end that series with an augmented strike. An augmented strike means that you're doing a strike like this, the hand shoots up, this hand meets it right here. On an augmented strike, I like to teach it like this. If the hand is coming forward, I'm going to parry off, catch this point that bends the elbow, bringing him into hammerlock for the strike. Just like that. And again, my hands are here, and that's what it looks like in the kata. He comes in, and again, this traps for the attack. Now the final movement of the kata is a simple movement, down block, high block. And again, when I first started karate, I was taught this is to block a kick, this is to block a head high punch. But then I began to start sparring, and I never used those techniques. I never used this to block a kick, I never used this to block a head high punch, because you don't use two moves to block one move. Why was I using two motions to block one? Well, it's because these motions don't actually do what I was taught at the beginning that they do. So what do they do? Well, let's look at them both by themselves. Looking simply at a down block. Imagine someone is choking you with this hand, the other hand is ready to blast you. My hand here, remember the point that bends the legs? This hand, and here, and there is the opening of a down block. Just basic. He grabs, sets up. And that's only half the technique. Haven't even completed the technique. If I reach up and grab, I can take him down and finish the technique. Or I get him prepared for the high block. The high block, remember, followed the down block. We did down block, high block. Again, he grabs, boom, boom for the finish. That is just some simple keys that you can use to walk through Pinan Shodan. Each technique, every move, has a certain way to use pressure points, to use real techniques as self-defense techniques, and a way for you to take each kata you have and use these keys to learn to break the katas down, each one individually. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope that you practice safely and that you have a God-blessed day.